Gentlemen, it looks like the clock on the wall and my laptop say 6 p.m., so I'd like to call to order this regular city council meeting for Monday, January 12th, 2026 at 6 p.m. If we could say the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Holly, will you call the roll, please?
Ludwig.
Here.
Haynes.
Here.
Jenkins.
Here.
Van Allsburg.
Here.
Rhines.
Here.
Gilroy.
Here.
Hanson.
Here.
All right, and I am looking for approval of this evening's agenda unless someone would like to make a change.
I make a motion to approve the agenda as submitted.
Thank you so much. Do I have support?
Support.
Thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And now we have an opportunity for audience participation with a maximum of 5 minutes per presentation. If there's anybody in the audience that would like to come forward. All right. Moving along, we've got our council meeting minutes of December 8th, 2025. I'm looking for approval unless there are changes that need to be noted.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you so much. And we have support. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have an accounts payable, Terry, and can you tell us where the money went? You look like you have like a very big envelope
What
there.
happened to all that?
What happened to all that
It's
money?
like twice as many invoices as there usually is, but it all worked out, and the number was actually kind of small.
All right,
The analysis is as follows, that the ad valorem transfers to other government units were 44% of our total budget this month.
all right.
This last, it's 4 weeks now, isn't it? Yeah.
Mhm.
So 44% went to other governmental units, and there was one clever, interesting sort of thing in there, is that the city paid to the city $40 of property tax on a pump unit, I think it's a lift unit, on Corwin Avenue.
Yeah.
So I asked the ever inimitable city manager, John Hannafin, figured it out, is actually, there's a drain.
It's a drain assessment.
A drain
Yeah.
assessment for, is it Deer Creek or something, or?
Correct.
Yeah.
How did you figure, I looked all over that tax thing.
I had to phone a friend on that one.
Oh,
It was $39, but I got the assessment sheet if you'd like to see it.
I've seen it, it's just, okay. Anyway, it was $40, it was
All right.
unusual, other than that, everything looked pretty normal.
All right, well, I'm looking for that motion to move accounts payable ahead.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve EFT 1923, checks 78760 to 78817, and ACH 1924 to 1989, for a grand total of $347,030. I'm sorry, say it again. $347,030.02.
All right, thank you so much.
Second.
Thank you. Does anybody have any question regarding accounts payable? I know it was a long span of time from our last meeting till now, but if there are no questions, I will ask Holly to call the roll.
Van Allsburg.
Yes.
Rhines.
Yes.
Gilroy.
Yes.
Ludwig.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Haynes.
Yes.
Jenkins.
Yes.
All right. Now we're moving on to our action items, even though it looks like it's a long list. It's pretty straightforward. The first is our reappointment of Timothy Stratz to the Board of Review for a term to expire 1/1/2029. I'm looking for a motion to move that forward.
So moved.
Thank you so much. Do I have support?
Support.
All right. Holly, will you call the roll, please?
Rhines.
Yes.
Gilroy.
Yes.
Ludwig.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Haynes.
Yes.
Jenkins.
Yes.
Van Allsburg.
Yes.
All right. And for our appointments of council to boards and commissions, in my opinion, I feel that each of you represent the boards very well that you've been assigned to, whether you're the primary or the alternate. Unless there is somebody that wants a change, I'd like to offer up that we keep things status quo, because I think you're all doing a wonderful job on the boards that you represent. And if that is okay, yes, Terry?
Reluctantly.
Reluctantly. Well, Terry, you know, it wouldn't be the same if I didn't get a comment from you.
Okay.
But-
Nisa doesn't like me, and I don't like Nisa, and that's
And you
kind
know
of
what,
where
that's
it's
okay, it's a love-hate relationship,
there.
right?
Well,
I think you
it's-
do a great job. Holly, with that being said, can I request a motion that we keep the, okay, so I'm looking for a motion to keep the 2026 city council appointments for the representatives and alternates as is.
Second. Oh, well, you need a motion.
Yeah,
If somebody else can do it, then I'll second.
as,
I'll make a motion that we continue the board appointments from 2025 for city council into 2026.
Second.
perfect, thank you for the support, so we have the motion, we have the support. Holly, will you call the roll, please?
Gilroy,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Haynes,
Yes.
Jenkins,
Yes.
Van Allsburg,
Yes.
Rhines.
Yes.
Wonderful. Our next action item is an appointment of our election commission, and we do have a memo in our packet from Holly Thompson, our city clerk. I'm gonna turn it over to Holly.
Like really from the page. This is usually the same thing we do every 2 years. We have to reappoint the election commission. The election commission is in charge of appointing all the election inspectors for our elections. They approve the receiving boards, and any other things that come up. They approve the testing and, you know, anything I need them to do. It is usually the city clerk, city manager, and treasurer, unless somebody's gone, then we can usually use a deputy in place of that. And as a side note, before we take that vote, we do have a special election on May 5th this year, which I don't know if I've ever had a May election in 26 years, but, so the Ingham ISD, Ingham Intermediate School District, is calling a special election for a bond proposal. And so they will be paying for that election, for everybody in Ingham County to have an election. We are not required to have an early voting period, so we are not going to do that. We are also trying to see if we can not have an 80 county board and we can just combine it into the precinct and have it done like we used to do in the olden days.
Right.
Where it was all processed in precinct on the same day.
Okay.
That could save a lot of hours and time and money, so I'll just keep you guys posted as that continues. It's kind of fresh and new, so.
So Holly, with no early voting, oh, yes, Chair.
If I may, we should
Yes.
take action on the motion in front of you for the election commission.
Okay,
It's okay to cycle back.
Oh, okay.
Probably
All right.
take action on that.
I'll make a motion to
Thank you.
appoint Clerk Holly Thompson, City Manager John Hannafin, and Treasurer Tom Mead to the Election Commission.
thank you. Do I have support?
Support.
Thank you. Holly, will you call the roll, please?
Ludwig,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Haynes,
Yes.
Jenkins,
Yes.
Van Allsburg,
Yes.
Rhines,
Yes.
Gilroy.
Yes. Can I ask a question regarding that, now that we've taken the vote, really quick? If there's no early election, is it going to be in-person voting only, no absentee ballots, it's just you have to show
It'll
up?
be absentee.
Oh, okay, all right.
So all the permanent ADUs will get ballots.
All right, great, I'm just curious about that. All
Will
right.
will you set up in the school gymnasium and all that?
Okay.
Okay, you-
Perfect. All right, our next action item is the franchise agreement with Williamstown Township for the sewer connection for the Williamston Inn, which is on Grand River Avenue, and we do have a memo in our packet from our city manager, John Hannafin, so I'll turn it over to him.
Thank you, and Happy New Year, everybody. I've had discussions with the owner of the Williamston Inn, many of you know Byron. The inn has an issue with their septic system and the long-term ability for that to provide service there. And so he had approached me about connecting to the city sewer. There is city sewer in the easement out there, and had this discussion with him last October that he really needs to start with the township, and that also in the meantime, I was researching what, if any, agreements we have in that area. Because we talked about in our joint work session, we have the map and we have areas where there's 425 agreements, but we could not discover any 425 agreement for that specific property, even though the sewer's there. And so lacking 425, in good faith in discussions with the township, the concept was to approve a franchise agreement with the township specifically for the inn, and that's what's before you tonight. It's not a huge impact to the system. They will have to pay the connection fees, but as you know, the inn is about 10 rooms. They do have a permanent residence there as well, where Byron Aldrich is his family lives. So happy to answer any questions you may have, but just one of those anomalies that I assume we would have a 425, but we don't. But
Okay.
assuming council approves this tonight, the township is amenable to that connection.
All right, great. Any other question?
So we currently have water and sewer runs that are already out there, they just have to pay to connect to those, so it already extends that far.
It's sewer only.
Sewer only.
Yeah, sewer only on that side of the
Sewer
street.
only on that side of the street.
Any other questions, Terry?
My impression is the 425 agreements are done by, by block or something like that. And this, like, it looks like it's being done for just one address, or?
It's, again, one of the curiosities is that we have sewer main in the ground, in the easement out there. But I couldn't find any 425 for that area that includes the lumber yard and a couple of properties.
Right.
Basically west of Zimmer.
Scott?
Yeah, in here it's, it says the franchise may sell or transfer a portion of its sanitary sewer system within a township to another. Does that mean selling the building that goes with that kind of thing?
There's two things. One would be the building, but also, we're the franchise, we're the franchisor, franchisee, we're the franchisee. If for some reason, I think part of the agreement contemplates that the township, as unlikely as it sounds, ever got into the sewer business, that they could cancel this and then provide sewer to it. Or, I mean, it's a long way to get to Meridian Township, and I don't think Williamston was having these discussions, but the way the agreement is written, the township can cancel the agreement if they choose, if there's another alternative.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
So, but from our perspective, they would make the connection, they would pay their fees, make the connection, and they're billed like other sewer customers are.
Sure.
So.
Tim?
As I understand, there's been communication between the city manager and the township about the potential of what happens if they were to cancel the agreement, and they basically said that's unlikely to occur,
Right.
but if it were, some other arrangements would be made, because
Okay.
you really can't stop the sewer use. You can't
Right.
cut it off like you do for water.
Right.
The only other thing that I had a comment on, besides correcting the mayor's name on the signature block,
Okay.
was at the end of section 8A on page 4, the last sentence on there, it talks about each party holding the other harmless for whatever it does. But then it says, nothing in the agreement shall impair any liability protection afforded the township pursuant to law.
Right.
And I thought that should also include the city.
Right.
And so I suggested it should say, and nothing in this agreement shall impair any liability protection afforded the township or the franchisee
Okay.
pursuant to law.
Okay.
And with that change, I would approve it as the legal form.
Okay.
One more.
Yes, Terry?
I think in terms of round 10% numbers, my impression is that water, we are using about maybe 60% of what we can produce in terms of water, but we're using about 80% of our sewer capacity. Are those numbers accurate, just in big picture?
I would say the 80% on a given day, like in the winter, is probably a low number unless there's a freeze thaw. A big part of our capacity with the wastewater plant here is the older infrastructure, the older sewer mains, and we have the inflow and infiltration.
Mm-hmm.
But on an average day, those are measured in terms of MGD, million gallons per day. So, again, winter, non-thaw, non-rain, winter events, this time of year, we're anywhere from 0.35 to 0.4 MGD, and the plant is 0.62 MGD. So a little over, it's more like 60% on a design day. And then on a wet weather event, we're able to manage the wastewater effectively with skilled operators, but it way exceeds the average permit a day. We couldn't sustain a late February, early March thaw with 4 million gallons per day running through the plant for a month. We couldn't do that. We wouldn't have the treatment capacity for that.
So adding the Williamston in will not overburden this out.
It's fractionally small. It's probably less than, it's more than an average house if he has a full slate of gas, like 10 gas, but not much more than an average residence.
Okay. With that being said, I am looking for the recommended motion with the changes that our city council attorney has recommended.
Make a motion to approve the attached franchise agreement as amended with Williamston Township to allow Williamston Inn to make the connection to the sewer main at 1133 East Grand River Road.
Thank you. Do I have support?
Second.
Thank you. If there's no other questions or comments, I will ask Holly to call the roll.
Hanson,
Yes.
Haynes,
Yes.
Jenkins,
Yes.
Van Osberg,
Yes.
Rhines,
Yes.
Gilroy,
Yes.
Ludwig.
Yes.
All right, next on our action item is set joint work session with TIPA and EDC. We have a memo from our city manager, John Hannafin, in our packet, so I'm going to pass this over to him so he can explain why we are setting up this joint work session.
Thank you. We have you announced that Granger did carry through with transfer through donation to that 66 acres of industrial parkland, roughly Lynn Road and Williamston Road. The map that is attached, the red outline shows, on the second page, shows the property that was donated. The three properties, the larger ones to the east, are currently zoned I-1, and the one that fronts on Williamston Road is currently zoned professional office, PO1. That is the entirety of the property that Granger owned. The gaps that you would see in there are currently privately owned by different landowners. So what I'm recommending is that we meet with the TIFA EDC. This property is not in the TIFA, but the EDC is long been considered the economic development board and wing of the city of Williamston. So I think it's right and proper to meet with them in joint session to talk about these properties. We have a TIFA EDC meeting on next Monday, or the week from today, where we'll also be talking in general about these properties and also about the joint work session. We have had, as I said in the memo, we did have a joint planning session with Planning Commission and City Council back in 2023, and then we had a joint work session for the master plan with planning, DDA, and the City Council in 2024, and the I-1 zoning designation came up, and so I think that kind of sets the ground rules in a sense for what that property could be, but I think we should meet in joint session with that board and move forward. The other thing I think that's relevant, the EDC has approximately $70,000 in available funding, and that could be a funding source to, if we choose to go to hiring a realtor, if we want to do some marketing, but we have resources available through the EDC, and that's certainly a relevant thing for those funds to be spent on.
All right. I am seeing here that the recommended motion does list either February 16th or March 16th. My preference would be February 16th, only because I will be traveling for my day job in March. So would February 16th work out for
Works
council?
for me, yeah.
Okay, all right.
You said February, right?
Yeah, February, yeah.
What day of the week is that?
It's a Monday, it's at the regular EDC TIFA meeting, so that we will join them.
I got the same thing.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Is it 6?
Steve, did you have a comment? Would you like to make the motion? All right, please do.
I move that we set the joint city council work session at 6 PM with TIFA and EDC for February the 16th, 2025,
2026.
2026,
If you can make us go back in time, that'd be awesome.
2026.
All right, thank you. We have the motion before us. Do I have support?
Support.
Thank you all. Holly, will you call the roll, please?
Haynes,
Yes.
Jenkins,
Yes?
Van Osberg,
Yes.
Rhines,
Yes.
Gilroy,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
All right, next is the McCormick Park Winter Maintenance memo that we have in our packet from our city manager. I just want to preface this that over the beginning of fall, moving into winter of last year, I did have several people reach out to me asking if we could have maintenance in McCormick Park. So I did have conversation with John, and this, I believe, is a result of it, so I will turn it over to him.
Thank you, and let me apologize in advance to Mr. Hanson. There's 6 paragraphs on here, and one more, it would have been a PowerPoint, so I know you would have looked forward to that, so.
I'm feeling slightly deaf.
Yeah, so, this issue is this is not the first time it's come up since I've been here, with doing winter maintenance on the walking path. And one thing, certainly, if that's the direction from council, staff will certainly figure out a way to get it done. What I am recommending though, and this goes beyond just McCormick Park winter maintenance. So when we get a snow of any amount, there's a number of things that we do. We plow the streets, we plow the parking lots, we plow we plow or do snow removal on sidewalks in the DDA, Old Mill Park. Those are kind of the main areas, not to mention city facilities. And we somewhat put those to last because we just have to get out, not downtown or the downtown complex, but like the water wastewater. We kind of wait till last to do those. So for us to, and again, historically, we haven't maintained the McCormick path. No one really knows why we haven't. I mean, some of the things anecdotally that told me is that, doing winter maintenance will harm the path. Well, it is asphalt, that's true, but if we are gonna maintain that, we will have to maintain it to a safe walking standard. So we'll have to do snow removal, and we'll also have to do salting from time to time. We won't have to salt every time. It's a perfectly reasonable thing to do. Previous communities, we've maintained in-town paths. We've had maybe more standardized or better equipment for that we added over time, and that's part of the recommendation tonight. And they're exclusive, and we can maintain that McCormick Park with the current equipment we have. The challenge with that is we do use a John Deere tractor, and that's really lack of a better purpose, it's a modified lawnmower. It is a tractor, but it has a broom on it. It's a wider broom that's not scaled to be sidewalk size, if you look at it that way. So the recommendation is to do it, but then also purchase this Ventrac piece of equipment. That's a machine made specifically for snow, and there's the 7 or 8 page glossy inserts for that. There are multiple attachments that are possible with that. There is a snow broom like we use. There's also a snow blower, which is something that would be new. And then maybe the big add is that there's a salter on the back. Because currently, like downtown, we have to salt by hand. We just use the spreaders that we have. Again, we make do, but to give you an idea of the scale, this salter can hold 6 or 7 bags of salt, and we have to one at a time it now. So winter maintenance in the downtown, like for sidewalks and typical snow, I looked it up because we did this over the weekend. It was about 4 hours, and one person came in, and that's 2 people though. One person came in with the tractor, and another person came in to salt. So not counting the staff time, this will reduce that. I can do a more scientific deep dive on the numbers if you'd like, but again, if it normally takes us 4 or 5 hours to do that, having this piece of equipment will take one person an hour or 2, depending on how much snow there is.
So in reading through your memo, I do see, and thank you so much for this, that because of the box van and the 2 pickups that we talked about last fall, we were able to bring in approximately $30,000. The purchase for this particular piece of equipment would be roughly $64,605. So that the proceeds from the auction helps offset this. If we were to vote to move forward with this piece of equipment, when would we be able to put it into service?
That's a good question. Obviously, we would like to get one as soon as possible. I'm hopeful that we would get one by roughly a month from now.
Okay.
That's if they have this particular one at the local distributor, which is in Mason.
And it's gonna create efficiency, better
No
process
question.
and I really kind of like looking through the brochure that there are the other attachments that could help in the future
Right.
for different tasks around the city. So with that being said, questions, Terry?
Yeah. My impression is that Ray is not a meeting kind of guy, but if Ray was here, what would Ray say?
He would say, I mean, this is somewhat Ray-driven, right? Because he's the one who has to deploy people. And we had the conversation earlier today about, just to get absolutely clear on the scope. I know what it is. I know how many people it takes. And then, we know scientifically because we have tracking devices on our vehicles. So
Right.
I know that this past Saturday and this Sunday morning, it took 4 hours. And I just verified that with him. He said, yeah, that's the tractor, but it's also somebody else coming in to do salt. Because the one thing about this equipment, maybe state this again, you can throw snow or broom snow off the front while you're salting in the back.
Yeah.
And this is what's different from the John Deere that we have. This is designed for snow.
Yeah.
It's specifically a snow machine. That's the difference.
So Ray would be happy.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yep. Dan?
Had a couple things. This has come up a couple times, not with a new equipment purchase, but it's come up a few times since I've been on council. And in the past, I don't know that it's always been a formal recommendation, but it had been the recommendation of the then city engineer, DPW, that we not do this. But now, Ray, we're certain that if we could do it now, but it would be much better if we get this piece of equipment and they're all on board with it.
Correct.
I'm just making sure, because like I say,
No,
in the
in the
past,
past.
we were literally, oh, we can't
Told
do
that we
this
can't do it.
because of yada, all the different things.
Sure.
Like you said, we would harm the asphalt, we would have to replace it all so much quicker, we would drive the frost into it, all these different things.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure that, and then, would this piece of equipment, like, well, we have the broom for the John Deere that we currently use. Would we be using these two things in tandem? Would we be thinking about selling that broom attachment if we were to go forward? How would any of that work?
Yeah, we would still, when the big change, when there's a large snow and we have what's called null call, and that's the 4 people that are permanent DPW employees, the supervisor, which is Ray, Matt Akers, who's a non-union employee but in the water department, who comes in a heavy snow, and then the 2 employees assigned to wastewater. All of those folks help during a snow event. So if we had a 6 or 8 inch snow, or really even a 4 inch or above, they would work in tandem. We would do that. It's really the advantage of this economy is like when we have 1.5 inches or 2 inches of snow, and it's just kind of on that tipping point, and then you only have to, the one person on call can come in and do both the removals on the sidewalks and then also do salting.
Yes, Tim?
Okay, so, when there's not big snows, this can be used downtown?
Correct.
Okay, downtown, okay, on that. Okay, another thing I noticed too was, I was looking at the warranty. So we got 2 years and they give us unlimited hours. So after the 2 years, is this something that our people can work on?
Yes.
And maintain?
Yes.
Also, the exclusions on the replacement parts limited to 90 days?
Yeah,
I had a question about that one.
I'd make sure you're looking at the actual unit, not the, what's the
Well,
little
I'm
bit
looking at the
confusing.
warranty.
Yeah,
I'm just looking at the warranty, so.
Yeah, I mean, that's the warranty that's offered, but that's fairly standard for something that size.
And my last question is, can we purchase, if it's within reason, an extended warranty, or is that not necessary?
I can look into that. My suspicion is that the extended warranty will probably be more expensive than a standard repair would be, but we can look into that, sure.
Yes, Jan?
One more question. So, I know we use, I can't remember the exact word for it, you mentioned in the memo, for purchasing, I think it's the government clearinghouse that has it. Did we look at all, because we have 2 different equipment dealers, one in the city, one right on the city boundary. Did we talk to either one of them at all?
I don't believe that we spoke to the Kubota dealer just outside of town, Deer Creek. I'm not sure if they provide this equipment or not, but the Sourcewell price is what we're using.
Gotcha.
There's 2 purchasing cooperatives. There's the My Deal, which is the state, which we belong to, and then Sourcewell, which is similar but more of a multi-state one. But we did, and with Hudson, the John Deere, they don't have this specific type snow machine.
Gotcha.
We would certainly purchase from them if they had something that was comparable, but they don't.
Good question. All right, yes, Steve?
I'm very supportive of having the pathway around the park shoveled in the wintertime. But I'm not sure for $64,000. So if we were not going to do that, this piece of equipment, help me understand how much more beneficial it may be for the overall operation of snow removal for the city.
So in terms of, it's a better piece of equipment. One of the issues with the John Deere is that the broom is 4.5 feet wide, and this is 4 feet wide. So we've had issues with access for the broom, and we've had to replace it. And when the broom breaks, it's anywhere from $2,500 to $5,000. We've had to repair that twice, I think, since we've been here. So there's the actual, this is a more specified piece of equipment. As far as the hours, anywhere from 3 to 4 to 6 hours per snow event per season. So snow events is measured in days, so anywhere from 30 to 45 to 60 days of snow times 6 to 8 hours saved, or 5 to 6 hours saved. So probably just on the staff alone, anywhere saved from $5,000 to $10,000 annually in staff time. Not to mention the speed, because the real issue, we can maintain the pathway with the equipment we have, but if we're salting that manually. We're out there
Right.
pushing salters the whole, I think it's a half-mile loop, the whole thing. So it's really the advantage of one person being able to do that job as opposed to right now, it would be 2 or 3.
Go ahead, Steve, I'll do your
Question
follow-up.
question on the salting. There had been some concern about park folks not liking salt because it kills the grass.
Mhm.
Help me understand that. Is that gonna happen? Are there things we do? that-
Salt will kill the grass,
Mhm.
yeah.
Would this be a more controlled salt laydown so that, or if it's melting, and I know that you've got experience in this, is it gonna, it's gonna drain off and we're gonna have,
Well, it kind of
Grass
speaks to the
issues, right?
overall question, right?
Right.
That maybe the why or the why not. 'Cause
Right.
it's never as simple as I post on Facebook that I want to walk in the path and
Right.
the city needs to maintain it.
Right,
Because and we can do it. And we currently, the last couple of snow events, including this past weekend, we did do the snow removal. So,
Mhm.
I mean, the salt's it's gonna have an impact on the grass, but,
Yeah.
I mean,
salt has an impact on homeowners.
it's a drop
Right.
spreader, so
Yeah.
it's gonna drop the
Yep.
spread.
Dan?
So this is for the salt. That's a good question because that was something we discussed when this came up previously, was there's probably gonna have to be some overseeding in the spring.
Right.
Where we go out and we're gonna have to reseed some areas alongside the path.
Yep.
But part of that is, like I look at this and 64.5 is a big number. But when you look at the staff time and the difference for our staff, if you just think about, okay, each bag of salt, if we're using standard size bags of salt, is 50 pounds. This will hold 6 of those, and our guys now, they currently, I don't know where we store our bag salt, but they have to load that in a truck, come over, they get the hand spreader, they offload it a bag at a time, they load it into the hand spreader, then they do it, and they're like, oh, well, I didn't bring enough from DPW headquarters, go back, get some more.
Right.
They probably have it dialed in, they know about what it takes, but with this, because I looked at that number and I went, oh, that's a big number. But with the efficiency, in my opinion, of being able to go from 2 guys for every snowfall to 1 guy who can do it at one time, we can pay this thing off hopefully in 2 to 3 years, conservatively. And with the impact to all of downtown. But you are right, there's no way with using a broadcast spreader on the back of this thing that you're going to contain it to just the sidewalk in the park. You're gonna, and either the broom or, well, I believe, we're looking at the snow blower, that's gonna chew up the sides of the
Yep.
grasslands. You're going to have to come along in the spring, and you're gonna have to do some topsoil in some areas, and you're gonna have to oversee. And that's a part of it.
Scott?
Well, if the city manager put it on here, it's a good idea.
Right, no.
Rest my case.
Right, and I think, number one, we're gonna create efficiency with this, if we do move forward with it. I would have to assume that Ray already has wheels turning going, if we get this, what can we do to create efficiencies if we were to get some of the other implementations that can be added to it? And we will have our visioning session coming up, we will be working on budget in about another 2 months, getting ready for fiscal '27, so, while it is a big purchase, I think that, it's, in my opinion, it's a good idea, because we are gonna, we're bringing in a piece of equipment that's not just for snow use. DPW can look at what other, attachments we could use so that it could be an all year use piece of machinery instead of just, for snow events, because if we don't get snow and we're not using it, then it's sitting there and, so I would have to say that, Ray's probably doing a little forward thinking with that, so, yes, Terry, and then I'll grab John.
as the city council representative to the organization that spent $100,000 on a fancy side-by-side that you can buy at the Tractor Supply for $12,000, which was an enormous waste of government funds, and it pisses me off that they did that. This is not the same thing at all. This is a basic unit, and it's usable. You don't have to pretend that, oh, we're gonna use it for all these things. It's, every time the snow comes along, we're gonna actually use this. We don't have to invent some thing, you know, kinda crazy. So, comparing the two things, okay? I mean, both of them, little, smaller pieces of equipment for comparable numbers, 70,000, 100,000. One of them was a foolish waste of government money, and the other is a good way to spend money.
All right, great, thank you. John?
Yeah, when I first got our packet, I had to go, it's one of those, well, I guess you learn things. Because I would have assumed, as a resident, that we were maintaining it. So, I mean, it was a real stunner.
Yeah.
I'm 100% for this. But, Earl's not here. What's the flavor of Parks and Recs?
I mean, again, there's gonna be some resistance to salting, but then it gets to, if council wants to defer to that decision, for the Parks and Rec to weigh in, but, at the February meeting, because we don't have a meeting this month, I would just urge them to approve this, because it provides 365-day use of the park.
Right, yeah,
And with the salt, I mean, the salt's gonna, just like at home, it'll kill the grass some,
yeah,
won't kill all of it, and we'll
Sure.
keep a close eye on it.
sure. I think we've had a lot of good dialogue on it. I think that we are capable of making a decision, and also letting John inform, our Parks and Rec group that, you know, there's a obvious need for this, and it's not just for the park, we are gonna use this throughout the city. And if we have to cross that hurdle when we get to it regarding salt, we can do that. But with that being said, I'm going to ask for the motion and see what the vote.
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of the Ventrek KX 480 for the attached quote price of $64,605.60.
Thank you. Do I have support?
Second.
Thank you. If there's no further discussion, yes, Steve?
How does it impact the budget?
Yes, John?
So we do have the offset from and that's the $64,000 question. The offset from the proceeds from the vehicles on auction, and then at the end of the year, when we do budget amendments, we would just amend the equipment budget, the equipment fund, but we have plenty of resources to pay for it.
Okay.
And I probably should have said that. If we can't afford something, I'm not.
You're not gonna bring it to
gonna
us.
come up
Yeah.
here and then try and figure it out. That's a great question. But we do, I'm very comfortable, given those two things. I maybe would not have been if we didn't have the proceeds to offset,
Sure.
and then it would be a discussion item in February for the next budget year.
All right.
Does this imply that we're gonna clean the park, the paths in the park as well, or is that a separate
Yeah.
issue?
No.
That's part of this?
Dan?
Before we go, will the cleaning of the parks begin once, if the vote goes through to purchase this, would that start once we receive this piece of equipment, or would it start going forward from that?
Yeah, go ahead.
We've already started,
Okay.
and
Using the
one of
equipment
the
that we
idea
have.
was to see the impact, and fortunately, we've had, I guess, a good training snow, because we haven't had a huge
Yeah.
accumulation in the last month or so.
Yeah.
But we've had, a couple inches here.
All right. Okay, Holly, will you call the vote, please?
Jenkins,
Yes.
Van Allsburg,
Yes,
Rhines,
Yes.
Gilroy,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Haynes.
Yes.
All right, great. Our last action item for this evening is to set the city manager annual review. We have information here in front of us from our city manager, so I'll turn this over to our awesome city manager, John Hanson.
Appreciate the pre-comment of awesome, but I hope everybody feels the same.
Sure.
Yeah, this is a good best management practice for council manager, form of government to evaluate the manager annually. Come up on my 4th year here on Valentine's Day, the 14th. Recommend council set the evaluation. It's either the 9th or the 23rd. That was just to give council flexibility in scheduling. So I'm good with either day.
So you started on Valentine's Day?
He
did.
did.
How about that?
Yep.
That seems
That's
like
one of my
proliferation by.
I'll just say that's one of my favorite council meetings, because I get to spend it with a bunch of men. So,
I mean, how could it not work out?
I know, right?
You start down to the-
Right, exactly. It's a love connection. I am good with either the 9th or the 23rd. Council, what say you? John, are you looking at your calendar? You good?
Yeah,
Yeah, Terry, you good? Steve? Dan, either? All right. Would somebody like to make that motion and a recommendation for either the 9th or the 23rd?
Make a motion to set the city manager's annual evaluation for the regular meeting of February 9th.
All right, thank you, thank you. So we have the motion, we have support. If there's no other discussion, Holly, will you call the roll, please?
Van Allsburg,
Yes.
Rhines,
Yes.
Gilroy,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Haynes,
Yes.
Jenkins.
Yes.
All right, then. What, yes?
Are you gonna, send out a form? Okay.
Yeah, great. All right, that concludes our action items for this evening. We have 2 discussion items, our master plan and our main forest safety improvements. Sorry, excuse me. So I'll turn that over to our city manager, John Anahan.
Yeah, thank you. With the master plan, the draft was approved at the last planning commission meeting. We had a full house, but they were there for something else, but it was good. They got to follow on the discussion, and we'll talk about the else at our, under my city manager report. But so that will be coming to you for approval or comment or correction or addition at the next council meeting. Assuming council approves it, there's a 63-day comment period, public comment period, where folks can make comment, and then once it's approved, it also gets sent to the surrounding jurisdictions, the regional planning agency, et cetera, et cetera. So, was asked earlier today to talk about summarizing the 77-page document into 4 bullet points, and happily do that. What I think is the most important for your review, the future land use map. We have, and that's critical when properties request to be rezoned. So I would take close care in reviewing that, and we can discuss that more in 2 weeks. Also, the Williamston Road corridor, making sure that we have protections in there, not necessarily in the master plan, but that will be in the zoning ordinance when we update that. The I-1 uses, that's the industrial park, light industrial park uses. We've talked about that at different work sessions. And then finally, sort of an overview is the zoning ordinance follow-up. And some of the key things that we've already done is enhancing the landscape standards between commercial and residential districts. And that's a zoning ordinance thing, but it is mentioned in the master plan. Also, the else part for the folks at the last planning commission meeting was, we do not currently have an ordinance that is specific to data centers and Bitcoin mining operations and things like that. This is something that Councilmember Haynes had brought up right before we broke for the holidays, that's something that we should have our eyes on and be working on. So, and if there's no other questions about the master plan, we can move on to the kind of the next part.
Yep, that'd be good.
Okay, so segueing into that, I mentioned to the planning or stated the planning commission that we'll be asking you to set a 6-month moratorium so the planning commission can effectively research zoning ordinances. There's a number of them that have been adopted. There's a number of them that are in practice or in review right now across the state and really across the country. We've already got a couple of really good templates to work on. So planning commission will work on that, and then we'll have an ordinance that can be as protective as the law allows for our community.
Great.
Because in the absence of, and Mr. Perron can chime in on that, in the absence of specific zoning, then it's subject to someone's interpretation
Right.
of where it would fit. So.
Right.
That's correct. So an applicant could come in and say, this is what I think,
Right.
and put in an application, and then it's incumbent upon the zoning administrator to make an initial determination and potentially go to ZBA as to where do these fit?
Mhm.
Because you can't totally prohibit a specific use,
Right,
and so it must be allowed somewhere.
right,
But if we can preempt an application by actually putting something in the ordinance that's something that the city
Mhm.
wants to have in there,
right,
well then, you're ahead of the game a little bit. And in order to
prevent an application from coming in the meantime, the planning commission did recommend city council put a moratorium, and that's in the form of an ordinance.
Right.
And this form of ordinance that we're going to be presenting at the next meeting is an emergency ordinance. It requires 5 votes, but you don't have to do 2 readings, and it becomes effective immediately upon publication after adoption.
And that will happen at our next council
Right.
meeting on the 26th of January?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for that explanation, Tim, because I think we all need to be very aware of that this would take effect immediately upon the vote.
Right.
the
And I don't
publication
think it
of it.
was mentioned on the record tonight, there was 50 people here
Right.
at the planning commission
Right.
meeting, and
Right.
they were mainly here
Because of that?
Yes.
Right. Dan, go ahead.
Question on the publication part, is that like basically when we publish our minutes, or does it have to be published in the paper?
It would
or-
be notice of adoption of an ordinance that would be published in a newspaper.
Okay, all right, great, thank you. All right, well, thank you for that update.
Yeah, it was, the discussion, there was a lot of our neighboring township folks that were here, and there was a communication in the packet about the ongoing transmission projects in
Yes.
and around us. And, you know, we thank the folks who came to the meeting, and we implore them to talk to their townships and attend the meetings that are forthcoming from ITC, I think it is.
Yep.
The other thing that came up shortly after the new year started, Williamston Township, back in the summer months, they had approved a site plan for a 59-unit apartment building on, looking at 2365 East Grand River Road, which is in the township. But there was some discussion about their planned unit development agreement. I guess the linchpin for that was the payment in lieu of taxes ordinance, which the township chose not to move forward with. So I have not seen the PUD agreement. I do know this, unlike the action that was taken earlier for Williamston Inn, this is an area that is covered by an existing 425 agreement. I did meet with Mr. Perone before our last planning commission meeting to do a preliminary review of what our obligations are under that. And at the next council meeting, we'll have a legal memo for council to review and discuss. I don't think we need to have this as this is not, I would say, an adversarial thing. I don't think we need a closed session to discuss it. So
Okay.
what they're asking for from the city, and what the preliminary review for the 425 says, the city shall provide the water and sewer, and then upon completion of the building, this property becomes part of the city of Williamston. So,
Okay. All right, well, thank you for that.
and no update on the main for it.
Okay. All right, great. We kind of covered the information received, the community listening sessions from the Oneida Sabine Lake project, which is the ITC high tension power lines. If you have questions about that, reach out to John. Going into our department head reports, John, you kind of covered your planning commission and the apartment, so you've got your upcoming agenda items. You want to speak to those?
Sure.
Okay.
Let me scroll down. I scrolled back up to the top because I thought I was done. You probably thought you were done listening to me speak for the evening.
Nope, you got 4 bullets.
So we have the moratorium coming up. We were requested to put together an annual report presentation for the city, and we're gonna do that for the year that just completed, 2025. So I think that's a good recommendation. Also, we'll be recommending to set the visioning session dates for the budget, for the 26-27 budget coming up. And then the other thing will be the consideration of the final draft of the master plan. And I always like to qualify that it's not the final plan, it's the final draft that council, if so choose, if you wanted to send it back to planning, or if you wanted further review of certain things, or want to make amendments at the table, you can certainly do that.
Okay.
So just want to point that out. It's not the final adoption of it.
All right, moving along, we've got Chief Weiss here, and you've got your memo here, so Happy New Year, Chief. Thanks for being here.
Happy New Year, Council. The December 25 report was in there as well as the annual report for 2025 with all our highlights. Just a few things I want to point out is one of the things I'm most proud of that we accomplished was National Night Out. It was the biggest, largest attended, and had the most amount of displays that we've had for a National Night Out thus far. And if you were there, you saw, I honestly can't remember a time when we've had the entire McCormick Park filled. So it was, the staff did great. Next year, 2026, it'll even be a little bit bigger yet. So we're looking forward to that. Number two thing that was a big accomplishment is we're fully staffed, and we're still fully staffed. And I anticipate being fully staffed for quite some time. So we have some very professional, seasoned staff that a couple of the younger officers lean into, and it's great. So number three is for 2026, we focus on community relations. So the officers attended football games, basketball games, as well as myself. So we're putting an emphasis on that, education in lieu of enforcement, which I think is working very well for us. So, any questions?
Yeah, go ahead,
Yeah,
Scott.
I'm curious if you had any discussions about ICE showing up here?
We have not, nor has that been an issue.
All right, great, excellent, Dan?
Question. So I know between different departments in the area, in the county, and even the tri-county area, there's different teams that some of the departments put together for, like the dive team and different things. Do we have any officers that participate on those different cooperative agreements?
We do. Officer Pilong is a negotiator on the Ingham County SRT team, special response team, a SWAT team, if you will. He's a negotiator on the team that just started a few months ago, and we're looking forward to possibly have another officer as an operator on the team. So that would give another outlet, another way for someone's, a little more incentive for officers to stay with our police department. And it brings in, when we put an officer on these special teams, those teams are also now available to us. So that interagency cooperation is huge.
Great.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Terry, I saw your hand.
I just wanted to say, and I've said this before, but I'll say it again, because I think this is really important. I think these numbers, these statistics here, I'm an engineer, I'm a numbers guy, but these really speak to the community in terms of the police being responsible to the community and being accountable to the people that pay your bills. And it's just really good that you're doing that.
Awesome, thank you.
Dan?
I just want to point out one thing now that Terry mentioned the numbers. So when you look at the yearly numbers for the year, you can see here, verbal warnings issued for traffic stops, 777 versus citations issued, 248.
Yeah.
So that's in stark numbers right there, what Chief is talking about with education, and we obviously have enforcement going on as well, but with, hey, we're present in the community, we would like you to go and pull, we're not here to hammer you, we're not trying to hit a certain number or any of that kind of stuff, and you can see it there in black and white.
Yeah.
That's awesome, Chief.
These statistics are great, Chief, I love it. Do we have the ability to post this on our website? These, because there's such a 30,000-foot level.
Sure.
Do we have the ability to
We
do
can do
that?
that.
I think it'd be great to share this with our community. I mean, we don't, have a newspaper per se here. So if we could do that, I think, being as transparent as possible, would bode well. That way our community knows what they're doing. And, we see the cars riding around and see the officers at different events, but I'd love to be able to share that.
One additional statistic you might add is gallons of hot chocolate dispensed.
Yeah, you should actually. Yeah, can
that was
we keep
actually
track of that?
Month to month.
That was
Yeah.
20 gallons. And,
Everybody loves the police department hot chocolate.
20 gallons, so we surpassed last year. I think we did
Excellent.
15 gallons. So.
Excellent.
0.00002 MGD.
All right, well, thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Please extend our thanks to your crew and the
Certainly will.
reserves as well, because I know you rely on them too.
Thank you.
All right, we also have in our packet our Livingston County Department of Building and Safety Engineering. They do all of our permit issuing for whether it's new or renovations, residential or commercial. So if you review this and you have questions, please reach out to our city manager, John Hannafin. He will get an answer for you. And then we do have in here, do we? treasurer report, yep, we do. If you have questions, reach out to, again, city manager, he'll get with Tom, he'll get those questions answered for you. It's a brand new year. Has anybody had a committee or subcommittee that, yeah, Terry?
I was at the planning commission,
Okay.
but I'm not the guy, but it was standing room only, every single seat was taken. And there were like sometimes 6 or 8 people at the door.
Okay.
That's how much interest there was in the whole data center business. But the NISA meeting was last week, and it was cordial,
Good.
and it was short. So it went from 7 to 7:36, I think.
Wow.
Short meetings are a blessing.
Wait, oh, 36 minutes.
They started 7, so I think
Yeah.
that, and it was cordial, and that's
It's a good way to start the year.
a good thing,
Let's keep it up.
I hope.
Steve?
Scott, I will not be here next Monday for the Tiffin meeting.
Okay.
All right, thank you for letting him know that,
Yeah.
so, opportunity to be the alternate. Tim, do you want to, share planning
Yeah,
commission?
planning was great. We had a great meeting, and it was so nice to see all the people here again.
Right,
And we talked, let's see, I think the biggest confusion was the layout of the lines, of all these formations that were on. That was the biggest confusion, I think, that people were really concerned with. And all their questions, as far as I know, got answered very, they left here with ease. We also had our commissioner show up and talk about the ITC meetings and talk about that format that they were looking at on that piece of paper. And she was a great help to everybody.
great,
And so it went very nice.
great, excellent, thank you. Yes,
There's
Terry.
something positive about the NISA meeting. There's a new reporting thing that they've implemented, because I've asked for it, and that was the big foo-foo over the September meetings and all that.
Right,
But the new reporting method, I think, is actually pretty good. It's very straightforward, and the big number for for the year, was I think 1724, or something like that. That's the number of runs they did, NISA. So 1,700 and something, which is about 5 per day. I think the monthly reports don't quite support 5 per day, but it does demonstrate, and there was a guy, it wasn't the chief, I don't know who it was exactly, it wasn't the assistant chief. They had a guy, I said, well, how does this compare to past years? And he had the numbers right there.
Good,
So
excellent.
and what it's going is right from 1570 to 1680 to 1724.
Wow.
Those are the kind of the area of the numbers.
Yeah.
So there is an increase, a gradual increase, and it seems it's supported by statistics.
Right, which you love. All right, well, thank you. Thank you, I appreciate that. All right, anyone else? All right, moving along on our agenda, we have another opportunity for audience participation. Yes.
Yep,
If you could come forward, I'm gonna make you stand up, because this is what we do. Come forward to our podium, state your name and address.
Good night, everybody. I'm Gabe Motter. I live at 3305 East Grand River Road. So, questions on a couple properties, actually. With the parcels that are in the industrial park that you're talking about being are currently zoned industrial, do you foresee any changes in policy for the entire industrial park? So I own 125 Industrial Park Drive. My company, Industrial Service and Design, is back in there for the last couple of years, so we're just curious if there's going to be any policy changes, or is that really going to be kind of felt out as you get an idea of how you're going to develop those lots?
Go ahead, John.
I don't mind answering.
Yeah.
Those are all the right questions to ask. We've had a couple work sessions about the property that's zoned I-1, which is the balance of it. And currently, there hasn't been any interest in changing that from I-1. We've talked about expanding some of the uses, because it is very, very restrictive, and I think that's not a bad thing. But when that is city property, and we'll have to go through a formal process to sell that. Selling city property is a little different than, it has to be an open process. You have to accept bids, either sealed bids or not, so.
Sure. And I just wanted to understand a little better if the policy is going to remain the same out there, since we're literally looking right across the street from it. I guess the second one is a public safety thing. So My wife Jess, she owns Grand River Laundry, and I gotta tell you, it is like shocking the amount of times that we've had cars come off of Grand River and literally sail over our through the median and into our parking lot and be facing, towards the east. And yeah, it happens more often than you would think. So I was curious, like, is there a possibility of getting some bollards installed out there in the city median, or the city easement?
When you say sail in, is it because of icy conditions?
No, it's
Just
people
driving.
literally driving over
They
the
drive right
curb
over the
instead of
parking
coming
thing
into
and then come
our
out on the
drive,
sidewalk.
yeah.
They drive right out on the sidewalk and come back out on High Street.
So, the small,
yeah.
the area where there's
We
the
can't do
city
anything.
sidewalk that, the red brick.
Okay.
Yeah, people drive through there quite often. I mean, no, not so much now in the winter, but when there's no snow, absolutely, people scream up over those curbs.
Okay, all right. Yeah, John, can you set up a meeting with
Yeah,
Jessica?
I owe you a follow-up about the electric at your business anyway, so we can
Yeah.
talk about it that time.
Perfect, sounds good. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, next on the agenda is our council member comments. I'm gonna start with Tim. All right, well, great. On to Scott.
Yeah, I was looking at the map of the industrial park today, and it occurred to me, maybe as a discussion on it at some point, maybe using part of that as a public use. For example, what came to mind is like an amazing Frisbee golf course that brings people into town because
Sure.
it's so cool.
Yep.
Once they're here, who
Like an
knows what-
activity center.
Yeah, like some kind of an activity spot in that area somewhere. It may make no sense at all. I've been driven out there and looked at it, whether it makes sense or not, for a Frisbee golf course, but the idea came into my head, so I'm passing it.
Okay, thank you. Dan?
No comments.
Steve? Terry?
In the industrial area, there's a small lake, and it's
Mhm.
set apart as an ecological reserve or something like that.
Oh,
And if we were to clean that up and make it into a dog park,
ah,
that, I mean, it's a Parks and Rec kind of thing.
It's a Parks and Rec thing. We had, okay. Okay, hold on. We actually, what happened when we were going through the sale of the commons, we had to shift, we had to do like a park transfer. So we created that out there as a part of our park system. So that little wetland, lake park and everything, so it is a part of our park system. Okay, all right. John? I'll go back to that.
Okay. Yeah, continuing concern as a resident and as a council person. I'd like to see either informal discussion, closed session, city attorney report on the Oakwood development, Raleigh Road construction. It's a continuing frustration for we residents. Get an update on where we are with that.
All right. So I don't typically do this after I've already passed public audience participation, but you both shot your hands up.
Yeah.
So you can, yeah.
So, sorry, and it actually totally escaped my mind until
Yeah.
you guys had discussed the little, nature area back there. So with my property literally right there on that border, it's actually, it's not a big problem, but it is kind of problematic. We have quite a few residents just kind of park in our parking lot, and like, I don't necessarily mind so much, but it is absolutely a liability concern of mine. So maybe you guys could look at utilizing a portion of that land was developed as like a small parking lot for people to access that area. So, yeah, I just
I'll
want.
have John talk to you about that too.
Yeah,
But the dogs.
yeah,
Right,
there's, people
right.
walk their
Yeah.
unleashed dogs back there
All right. I'm
all
sure
the time.
we can help out with that, with some signage and all that good stuff. Alrighty, well, I want to thank everybody for being here this evening to kick off this new year. I hope that you all had wonderful holidays, restful holidays, and I say we roll up our sleeves. Let's make 2026 an amazing year for the city of Williamston with the work that we do for our residents, whether they are residents or business owners. All right, and with that, I'm going to go ahead and conclude at 7:00.